I was recently invited to participate in a USA versus the world all OU tournament, where 30 players from the US and 30 players from all around the world would fight to see who was the best. I was picked to play OU, a metagame where Mega Pokemon run free and Gale Wings is still a good ability. When my team put me in, we were down 12 to 15, meaning if I lost this game, my team lost the entire tournament. I decided to use a team with Mega Charizard Y that my boy Blunder had won with just hours before. Let's see how the game went. The last time I played in a Smogon tournament was 2022, and now I have to save my team. So what better way to do it than using the exact same team that Blunder won with versus the creator X-Ray just a few hours earlier. I'll be leaving the replays down below, so if you want to watch the game on your own time instead of seeing my narration, that's completely fine. But if you do enjoy the tournament content, please let me know by leaving a like. And if you are new to the channel, I am hitting 500,000 subs this year, whether you like it or not. But if you want to join that, subscribe right now. It's been a long time since I played Generation 6 OU, but I was pretty good at it back in the day. I know that there's a lot of changes. For one, paralysis is not halved speed, but it's a fourth of your speed when you get Thunder Waved. Also, Thunder Wave's 100% accurate. I have a Zard Y, my opponent has a Zard X, Weavile still has Pursuit. There's so many cool little things in this game that are going to make a difference. Thunder Wave, for one, is 100% accurate. And Slowbro is really good because I know my opponent's team since I've seen them play with it before, as well as watch replays of other people play with it too. It's Zard X. It usually has Swords Dance, Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz, and Roost. The Clefable is Wish, Protect, Aromatherapy. Standard Seismitoad with Rocks. The Excadrill is Swords Dance, Iron Head, Earthquake, Rapid Spin, Defensive Zapdos, and Defensive Slowbro with Ice Beam and Thunder Wave. So my idea behind this game is get up Future Sight going from Slowbro, and Future Sight plus Knockoff have no switch-ins when it comes to Choice Band Weavile. My Zard Y, if I can get rid of his Charizard, can completely clean the entire team, knocking out Seismitoad and Slowbro with Solar Beam, Flamethrower for the rest. This game is actually really funny because the last time I copied the exact same team that Blunder won with that day was SBL 10, which was 2019, where he used the Sand team to beat Insult, and I used the Sand team to beat Zoroark, obviously both on the exact same team. My Magma Storm Taunt Toxic Earth Power Heatran can absolutely destroy Luca's team, assuming that Charizard still does not have Earthquake. Of course, I have to land my moves, and that's a very reoccurring thing in this replay. But let's get right into it. My Choice Band Weavile matches up well versus basically anything except for Charizard, so great lead on Luca's part. I'm going to switch out immediately into my Slowbro because I know this is Mega Charizard X, and based on this Dragon Claw damage, I know that's a more defensive variant. I throw off a Future Sight here as opposed to a Thunder Wave as they go Seismitoad. Very good play, obviously. Thunder Wave could come out. It's a ground type, gets up its rocks, gets up its toxics. Now with a Future Sight up, this is really important because as I bring in Superior right here, whether they had toxic or not, Leaf Storm into Future Sight into the Hidden Power Rock that I do have absolutely decimates both Zapdos and Mega Charizard X. So Future Sight's going to hit Zapdos. And now I'm going to go for the Hidden Powder Rock. No reason to risk missing the Leaf Storm right here as Clefable comes out. And I know that this thing is Unaware Clefable. It takes 12%. So it's not any Magic Guard I'm dealing with. Again, I'm pretty positive this is the Wish, Protect, Aromatherapy set that they've been using before. What I'm going to do versus Clefable? I'm going to do exactly what you should do versus a Clef. I'm going to click Glare and hope that that Mon does not move and hopefully force some Aromatherapies from there. I decided to bring on my Excadrill here because I can Rapid Spin if they do end up revealing the Aromatherapy. Also, this is a Mon that they kind of can't switch into, right? Like, this is unaware of my boost, but they can't go out to any other Mon. Zapdos, if I chose to go for a Leaf Storm that turn, dies. Actually, like I said, it could, because it did 21%, so it doubles on the next one. Zard would die to Leaf Storm into the Hidden Power Rock, and even if it didn't, it would have to have Flare Blitz to KO me, and then it'd probably KO itself because I'm Rocky Helmet on my Superior as well. So Excadrill makes sense because I can Rapid Spin away these rocks and even potentially getting them up of my own. So I go right for that Rapid Spin as they bring out Zapdos. And from here, I kind of forgot that Zapdos would defog. I'll be completely honest, it's been a minute, but I figured it'd be fine to get up rocks anyway because I can safely go out into something like Heatran on the defog regardless. Plus they can go for Heat Wave here. So I also wasn't 100% sure if Zapdos had defog on this set because they do have Excadrill to Rapid Spin, but considering there's no heavy duty boots in this generation and you have a Charizard, it makes sense you want a defogger in this. So while it could have been Discharge, Heat Wave, Hidden Power, Ice, this one ended up being defogged. So Heat Trend was still fine because Trend is really, really strong. I can click Toxic very freely versus their team. You're never going Excadrill. You're probably going Seismitoad or Slowbro. So I get a nice little Toxic off on the Seismitoad coming in. And I decide to be very aggressive here. If they want to go for Rocks, I'll get in my Choice Band Weavile and start clicking Knockoff, basically making a decision. Do you go for the 30% chance to burn me with Scald, or are you going to lose an item and make it even harder to switch in on Heat Trend? Because then these are the two Heat Trend switch-ins, right? Charizard is a switch-in, but if it doesn't have Earthquake, it's not something that can beat me down. So I throw off that Choice Band knockoff right here as Charizard comes in, and it does not even take half. Excuse me, it's Slowbro that comes out first. Sorry. Slowbro comes out because it's Cobra Berry, but doesn't matter because the next knockoff will knock it out. That was a really good pivot anyway. That was the greatest pivot you can make right there, in my opinion. But I burnt the Cobra Berry, which is nice, so my knockoffs, well, obviously they don't have an item, will still be very strong. And Charizard, like I said, does not even take half. This turn, Charizard kind of has to roost. If it doesn't and I bring out Weavile later and click knockoff again, it could die. So I throw off a knockoff on my own, kind of fishing for a crit this turn since it's relatively safe. They're not going for a fire move this turn. I have all these mons that can come in. Throw off that knockoff. I don't get it that turn. We're going to make the nice safe switch into Slowbro here and potentially throw off some Thunder Waves as well as some Future Sights just to keep up some offensive momentum versus the opponent. They end up bringing out Clefable on the Future Sight, and what am I going to do versus Clef? I'm going to switch hard into Excadrill because I want my Zard to come in. I could have Thunder Wave, obviously, and wasted another Aromatherapy, but I wanted my Zard to come in. They might even just go for Aromatherapy anyway because of Seismitoad. So this gives me a nice and free spin with Excadrill, again allowing my Heatran, my Charizard to come in a lot more freely in this game. Ends up bringing out Zapdos, and I'm so happy that there's pressure this generation, no static. Oof. Dude, being able to Rapid Spin versus a Zapdos, and also the fact that you don't have to worry about, yeah, basically the Rocky Helmet right here, that static. I don't get the speed boost, obviously, from Rapid Spin. It's 20 base power in this generation, but it's just so, it was so nice, man. I was like, yo, this is kind of nice. So this is a pretty free roost for my opponent, so I'm going to go Weavile, again, to be aggressive. You're not going to go for Heat Wave if you have it, because I have Heatran. I don't think you Discharge either, because my drill is still kind of problematic. You don't know if I'm Swords Dance drill. Even I have rocks. Like, I can still see Swords Dance Earthquake. I've seen some crazy things that people pass me in teams that I was trying to use. So yeah, we're gonna go for the I believe the knockoff one more time because they're always going Slowbro to Scout, and this gives me a way of actually punishing Slowbro. And from this position, I can actually double. I don't have to stay in. I go Slowbro on the Charizard coming out because that lets me get up another Future Sight to potentially weaken their own Seismitoad coming in. So their Slowbro comes out. They double out to Zapdos, which is a nice play, most likely anticipating me to want to pivot out into Serperior here. I end up going Heatran though, because if I have a Future Sight out, I expect them to switch into potentially Clefable. Just because you can, just in case I Thunder Wave or any of that, or even like Charizard at this point, like Zapdos could come out too because it's pretty free on this Pokemon. And now I'm in a position where if I land this Magma Storm, I get a kill, basically, except for on Seismitoad. So I kind of anticipated them when I go Zapdos that turn. So I go Heatran, I click Magma Storm. I do manage to land, or excuse me, I click Toxic this turn. I click Toxic this turn. I apologize. I click Toxic this turn on Seismitoad coming in because it's free. I don't have to click a Magma Storm yet. So I actually end up going for the taunt here because I think that Rocks is like the safer play for my opponent. So I make it a little aggressive play and go for taunt here. And the next turn, I actually stay in again, anticipating them because if I go Serperior, it's so free. Serperior is so free this turn. Skull Burn does not matter on it. Slowbro is free too. So what are you going to do to try and take advantage of Serp? You're going to go Charizard. So I go for Magma Storm here as Charizard comes out. And if I hit this Magma Storm, Zardo is dead. I can click Toxic, Earth Power. I'm already pretty confident it doesn't have Earthquake as well. I think it would have thrown it off a couple times, but I went for Magma Storm there. If I hit that, we'd be in such a great position. But I actually decided to go for the Toxic this turn because I'm thinking they don't have Earthquake. And if they went for it on the Tank Zard, I actually live. I barely live, but I live. And I can get recovery back with double. So I go for Toxic on Zapdos switch, and I'm like, you know what? This is an opportunity to potentially get rid of their Defogger, to potentially get rid of something that actually threatens Slowbro, because not a lot on their team actually threatens Slowbro. And I'm going to take it, even though it does risk potential paralysis from Discharge. So, plus, I mean, they have Thunder Wave on Slowbro, so that's something that might happen later. So I go for the Magma Storm here. Let's see if I connect. I actually managed to connect my Magma Storm, and one Discharge, I managed to avoid the paralysis this time. And right here, I'm actually just going to go for Taunt. That way they cannot Roost and try and outplay me, and I don't have the Earth Power. And I managed to avoid another Discharge paralysis as well. So pretty lucky on my part. They're going to die. So right here, I could have easily went out to Slowbro, because there's a chance they go for Heat Wave. But I'm Spadef on Drill, so Heat Wave would not KO me. I could have also went Serp. I didn't want to go Slowbro just in case they discharged again, though, and it got paralyzed, and that made it... Because even though Slowbro most likely does end up paralyzed versus their own Slowbro, there's still a chance they burn me with Scald from Slowbro, which means I don't have to risk being paralyzed. That means I can actually take on Zard a little bit easier. Because at this point, I'm still also thinking this is a Swords Dance Dragonclaw Roost Zard, not anything else. Which it may end up being. So I go Extra Drill on the Heat Wave. Great play on my opponent's part going for that Heat Wave. And unfortunately, I was punished and burnt. And burn this generation is 12%. It's not that 6%, so it is canceling out my leftovers. But I do get rid of Zapdos. That burn really sucks because look how good Earthquake is from this Pokemon. Look how good Rocks were as well. But I can live with it. It's Pokemon. So my opponent's going to bring out the Extra Drill and obviously threaten me. I assume Earthquake is going to come out. So I'm going to go Charizard Y. And this is where I reveal that I do have the Tech Ancient Power to hit Zard X upon switching. Of course, I'm going to go right for Ancient Power, right? I'm going to go for Ancient Power. I'm not going to click Flamethrower. I'm going to click Ancient Power. I do 46%. I'm like, yo, you know what? He has to roost, right? I'm saying in the chat, boost! Boost! I'm going for it because it also, it weakens the... Obviously, it weakens the Charizard even more and more. So I'm keep going for it, waste a couple more roosts, and try to get... Because my PP doesn't matter. I only have 4 Ancient Powers at this point. So there's only 1 turn of Sun left. So what I went for right here was obviously Solar Beam. My thought process was he could actually safely bring out Zard and recover. And if he wants to try and go out to like Toad or Slowbro on the Ancient Power and to waste more, because I only have 4 Ancient Powers, like I said, so he can waste 1 and pivot back and forth if he really wants to. He can even go Clefable and eat the hit because Sun will be gone this turn. Zard Y is strong, but I can't hit Slowbro or Toad without my Sun. So got a little lost in the sauce this turn. Did not work out for me. Obviously he roosts. Doesn't matter. He's still at 99, so I'm in a decent position anyway. So I'm going to go out to Slowbro, and this allows me to kind of, and exactly, so he brings out that Toad. And instead of getting up a Future Sight or anything, I'm like, yo, you know what? I'll potentially tank the, I'll take it if he wants to go for that Toxic. So I'll bring out my Weavile. I'm assuming he wants to get up rocks at this point anyway, just because his Defog is gone, he still has a Spinner. So I bring out Weavile because this is a commanding position. What do I want to do here? I can go for Knockoff. Because Slowbro is so low, there's also a chance that I crit it. I don't think it's actually that low. I think there's a little bit of Regenerator, but Knockoff is just still good. If I get rid of Clef's leftovers on an Unaware Clefable, amazing. Knockoff on Charizard, you have to use another Roost. I get 2 chances to potentially crit you as well. So Sax, Toad, Rocker's gone. So now my main priority is getting rid of the Stealth Rock with Rapid Spin. Because unless that drill has, again, unless that drill has the rocks as well, so double rocks, I'm in a good spot. Now Charizard reveals Will-O-Wisp. So I see Dragonclaw Roost, Will-O-Wisp. What is this Charizard? It is Tank Zard X. And I love that Lusa brought this. I actually even talked to him. I was like, yo, did you know that I created this set back in 2011? Or was it 2011? I think it was 2011. No, 2014, excuse me. I created this set back in 2014. And they actually used it versus me because I created it. So I thought that was so sick. It made the game a little bit harder for them because mine has Earthquake, but theirs has a Fire move. So yeah, I love that they made a callback to Tank Zard X. I debuted it, I believe, in SPL as well. I made this with Hugo, so it was really cool to see that. I just found this video because I wanted to show it off, obviously, right there. So they don't want to risk Thunder Wave. They end up going out to Slowbro there. I go for the Future Sight and then a Thunder Wave on Slowbro because I'm like, okay, I can risk Aromatherapies. If I get Sun up ever, if Sun is ever up, because they don't have an item, so they have no leftovers. If Sun is ever up with Zard Y, and I go for Magma Storm and Heat on Slowbro coming in, I simply beat it 1v1 and it's gone, right? I land the Magma Storm, I get my chip turn per turn, I taunt so they can't Thunder Wave or Slack off, I Earth Power twice, they're dead. That is it. Heatran lives the 1v1s because it only does about the same as 1 Scald since it's halved in Sun with 2 Scalds. So, and plus they can get paralyzed. So I go for Slack off here as well because I'm trying to be as healthy as possible to take on this Zard. Dragonclaw is going to win about 30%, 28 to 30%. And also I want damage on Slowbro to where Solar Beam guarantee KOs it. Solar Beam does 80 something to 99 max, I believe, to Slowbro, something around that range. So obviously I need a little bit of damage. So then going out to Clefable here as I go for another Slack off again, just trying to get myself nice and healthy. This is a little bit slower of a game at this point just because of the fact that you do have the Charizard, like it dodged Magma Storm, but very good play going right back on to Slowbro. Just wasting another Thunder Wave, potentially if I went for it, and also just getting more Stealth Rock switch-ins on Heatran. So that was just a good play, because if they went for anything else, I potentially could take Slowbro from there as well. So a couple turns are going to go by here where we get some Slack off, some Roost, throw out some Thunder Waves just in case they randomly want to switch. As Clefable comes out, I get another Future Sight off, and this is where I'm going to go Superior. Now the plan is to sack Superior, so that way I can get a free spin off with Drill in front of Clefable. However, there's a little bit more I can do here, right? I can potentially waste more aromatherapies because the only mon on their team that can actually deal with Serp is right in front of me. Because if Charizard goes for a fire move, like I said, I'm Rocky Helmet, HP Rock at +2, plus Flare Blitz Recoil, plus Rocky Helmet means Zard dies. It means it's a way easier game for me. My Zard just cleans up with Flamethrower, Solar Beam. So the play is Serp on turn 53 with a Future Sight up. And then, of course, they actually special attack drop me here, so it raises me because of Contrary, which is funny. Not that it matters, but it actually does because I get a +3 if they ever win Zard. So I go for a Glare there, get that off. And I could go for a Leaf Storm this turn, but I'm not going to be doing too much on them. And I figure I might as well waste as many aromatherapies as I can. So I decided to go for Synthesis just because it gives me a little bit more recovery and allows me to click Glare again. And again, I'm trying to waste those aromatherapies. The second it's down to 1, Toxic is going to land and last in every single mon. So I go for 1 Leaf Storm, I miss, whatever, it's Pokemon. I go for another Leaf Storm, I miss, whatever, it's Pokemon. I go for a 3rd Leaf Storm after the Synthesis because, again, trying to see if they actually ever want to go for aromatherapy. I want to be healthy enough to take it. I go for another Leaf Storm, I miss. Bro, Serp has no eyes, and the opponent is paralyzed. Like, dude, they're Gen 6 paralyzed. Whatever. I managed to waste 1 more aromatherapy, so they only have 4 left. They get a crazy roll on me with 39. I think that's their first 39 out of all the moves. They had 1 more before. But 34, 37, they get basically max on my Serp. I had HP as well. Again, this was always the plan, right? Sack Serp to get a rapid spin off with Drill because then rocks are gone for the majority of the game. Heatran can always double in and get leftovers and stuff like that, especially in the sun. But obviously, that 39 right there means I can't sit this again and try and take a couple more aromatherapies. Try to get a little bit greedy. It's not even greedy. I think it's just the better play. But I could have just went for another Synthesis. But Glare was always the best play anyway, in my opinion, because they could crit and kill me. So we get in Drill and do exactly what I said. We get that rapid spin off. That means no rocks will be here on my side of the game forever, and they bring out their own Drill. I am like 100% sure this has no rock slide in this game. I'm 100% sure Lefty's Drill does not run in the rock slide because you use it as your Clefable counter for the team. So you need Earthquake, you need Iron Head, but you also need Swords Dance to beat Clefable. Otherwise, you still lose to Calm Mind Clefable. So I bring out my Zard right here, as they're going to end up going for that Earthquake or Iron Head. No, it was Earthquake. As they end up going for the Earthquake. And once again, what do you think I'm going to do? Of course I'm going to do it. I'm going to click Ancient Power, and I get a 50, and I'm like, yo, 50? Yo, 50 is crazy of a roll. I'm like, okay, Charizard, you got 3 Ancient Powers left, bro. Now, if you didn't know, Ancient Power is just as strong as Focus Blast, right? It's 60 times 2 because it's super effective. So it's 120. Focus Blast is 120. But that's just good damage. It means I don't have to risk missing Focus Blast right here. I'm saying that because I have Focus Blast on the set. I just want you to remember that. So I'm like, yo, if I get this roll right here or a boost, it is over. It is absolutely over. So go for another Ancient Power. Don't get it there. Gonna go for another Ancient Power. Now I only have 1 left. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I might as well see if, because I'm not going to kill them anyway with Ancient Power. Focus Blast can also do the exact same damage. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw off Focus Blast here. Oh, no. I throw off another Ancient Power. Excuse me. I actually used all of them. Okay, I just said I didn't do this turn. It's a long game, if you guys didn't know. It's a very long game. I'm like, okay, I'll go for another Focus Blast because if Focus Blast lands here, it does the exact same damage as Ancient Power. And then they have to roost again, and then they have to roost 1 more time. So it gives me a freer Slowbro. You see my Slowbro is actually pretty low. Right, it has regen, it can live the hits, but my Slowbro is actually relatively low. So I go for Focus Blast there as Sun ends, just because it's going to still do the exact same damage. I miss because, I've missed a lot of moves this game. So I don't want to stay in at this point because they're obviously at full HP and I didn't get anything out of that turn. I decided to go Heatran as opposed to going Slowbro because I don't want to get KO'd. And they go for that Dragon Claw. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll go for a Toxic, and if I landed on Charizard, then I beat it 1v1. They end up going Slowbro. I do land Toxic on that, which is awesome, and now I can pivot into my own Slowbro and slowly but surely get my regen back to be able to beat both Charizard and Drill. The thing is, if Charizard went for Dragon Claw there and got the 32% because of the 12% from burn, I would have been 2 KO'd. So I had to do this. This gives me a nice little slack off. I actually double here as opposed to that though, and just take full advantage of the fact that this Mon could come in, get in my Zard. Now the only reason I got in Zard is because I threatened Clefable here, and they should go right back out into either Charizard or Slowbro on this. It should always be Charizard though. And because Sun is up, this is exactly what I talked about with the Scald earlier, right? I double out into Heatran here, which gives me a turn of leftovers. I get back a turn of leftovers as they go Zard. And this turn, if I land a Magma Storm on the Toxic Slowbro, it is over. So I go for that Magma Storm, and I unfortunately miss, but I'm slowly but surely getting getting back leftovers, which is nice. I'm getting back. But again, if I land on Slowbro, I taunt it, and then I beat it 1v1 with Earth Power. It can never beat me in Sun. I'm max speed F Heatran. So I unfortunately missed there, so I'm forced to retreat that turn. That's another Magma Storm gone, by the way. I only have 4 left, and yeah, they're not hitting this game. They're not hitting this game. So I bring out my Slowbro, and I'm going to go for a Future Sight because I'm trying to get the exact same position again. I'm trying to get the Sun up, and there's not a lot that Lucia can do besides basically dodge. So I got a Future Sight up as they go for Aromatherapy. As expected this turn, they have 3 left. Very important. I'm going to get 2 turns of recovery here, and I'm actually going to go for a Toxic one more time. As Slowbro comes in and dodges a Toxic, I mean, it's 90. It's going to miss eventually. Would have been nice to get the damage on them, but at least I'm back at 80% as opposed to the 40-something% that I was after Zard went for Dragon Claw. So on the Slowbro, you know what we got to do. We got to go Slowbro. They still have Thunder Wave. Potentially as an option. He has not revealed it, but I'm fairly confident he has it. I have a couple of Future Sights left that I can still do this exact same thing with. And though in this case, I actually have to always slack off because I cannot be too weak to Zard. While I can trade into Zard and I still have my extra, which is probably faster than their Zard as well, just based on the damage it was taking. I end up going for Thunder Wave here, slowing down their Slowbro, and then because I'm guaranteed faster this turn, I can actually afford to go for a Future Sight. And because they bring out Clefable on this, I can afford to switch as well and bring out my Heatran. They do double back, that way I can't actually do anything with it. But again, this is all helping Heatran. I'm getting back to full. I go Zard hard this turn because I do not expect them to Thunder Wave at all. I do not need HP on Charizard. And again, I don't expect the Thunder Wave to come out this turn. And if they get hit with Future Sight, they do always die to Solar Beam. So I bring Zard out so that way it can get hit with that Future Sight so they can die to Solar Beam. And what do? Of course, I go for the double right back out into Heatran, anticipating them to go out to Zard. And now I'm in the same position again. So from this position, I only have 4 Magma Storms left. So if I hit again on Slowbro, it's over. Slowbro dies. I maybe could have went for Earth Power this turn because I think I called them going on to Drill. But I went for Magma Storm anyway. This move is the worst move in the world. Okay, I hate this move so much. This move it's what makes Heatran not broken and broken at the same time. Heatran is incredible, being able to actually be able to like trap Mons and everything, but you know the trade-off is it doesn't hit. It just lets you down the entire time. And I have to be very conservative here because I only have 3 Magma Storms left, so I'm forced to switch. However, Heatran's managed to get back at full, so it's always a Zard answer as well. Right back at the Slowbro. And they do reveal the Thunder Wave this turn, so I'm glad I didn't end up going for Magma Storm again. That was a good reveal, right? But yeah, we get the Future Sight up. Gonna slack off a couple turns. Go out to Drill this turn on an expected, because that's usually that turn. I basically conditioned them. I had always went out to Zard around when my Slowbro was around 70, so I figured they'd go for that. And this is nice because I could go for Rocks here. In hindsight, I could have went for an Earthquake, anticipating the extra to want to come in. But I figured Rocks would be cool because if I sack Drill and get up Rocks, I go Zard and I just click and then I bring out Heatran and then I win for sure. So I could have went for Rocks just because they most likely go Drill. But I go for Rocks as like I'm gonna die. It's still in range. If I get KO'd right now because of Future Sight, then they still die to Solar Beam. So I go for Rocks here as they bring out Drill. Now Drill's gonna go for Rapid Spin this turn, which is why it's a free Earthquake. And right here it's something, right? Because I win the first speed tie and they go for Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin only does 4% to me, which means that if they win the next speed tie, I live Rapid Spin, get up Rocks, and die to burn. So now I'm kind of like, you know what, I might as well go for this, right? Because if I go for Earthquake and they go back to Slowbro, I get nothing out of it. They know I'm going to go for Rocks anyway. I could have definitely KO'd Drill here for sure, but I decided that going for Rocks is cool because if I get up Rocks, I bring out Weavile and then I get a kill. So I'm trying to, like, the game has been extended so many times because of my moves, so I'm trying to get something going for me. I unfortunately win the speed tie, and then I die to Rapid Spin, plus burn because it's a nice little 12% in this generation, so I don't get anything out of that turn. Definitely could have Earthquake there. I don't know if that was like a misplay or something, because I definitely could have just went for the EQ, but I don't think Drill is a problem, right? It gives free Zard, it gives free Slowbro. It just kind of extends the game a little bit more, and I kind of wanted the, okay, if I get this up, I literally Icicle Crash to a KO Clefable. I beat this, I can click Knock Off, get it with leftovers. It's basically a kill. So I was kind of going for the, what can I do here to give me more out of the turn, more value than what I've been getting? I think I've been playing fine, considering the circumstances, but what can I do to get a little bit more? Y'all feel me? So I bring out Weavile, what I'm gonna do with I'll always click the knockoff on Slowbro coming in, and what I'm gonna do here is instead of when Zard comes out, I'm gonna go for knockoff again because there's no reason not to, and once again I'm gonna risk that secondary crit because if they go for a fire move, it's always Flare Blitz even on defensive Zards. They'll die to recoil. If I get a crit this turn, Zard will die. If they go for Dragon Claw, I do live because I'm a Weavile. So again, trying to force more roost, which make it a little bit easier. And this gives me a position where I can bring out Heatran one more time and kind of just go for a Magma Storm. And this is where I'm like, okay, if they revealed EQ here, that'd be crazy. But I know it's fire. I'm like 100% sure it's fire move. Because again, the team kind of lacks Clefable killers. And even with Underwear Clef and this guy, you need the strong Flare Blitz. So I go for a Magma Storm this turn, and this was the turn I was talking about where I probably could have went for Earth Power because Excadrill this turn kind of made a little bit sense just because Slowbro is still, I'm at 100, so Slowbro will lose to me. But they've dodged so many, that I wasn't even sure like if this was the right time to call because I definitely was positive they were going Drill, but the risk versus the reward versus the miss was like, yo, if they go Bro and I actually land on this thing, this game is over. This game is over. They can't beat Future Sight plus Weavile at all. They would never be able to beat that. So Slowbro comes out, and we're going to have some nice little Slowbro on Slowbro action. Y'all know you like this. This is the way we do it out here. So we get the Future Sight, some Ice Beam, just showing off their full set. And I'm trying to be as healthy as possible. Throwing out some random flamethrowers as well because I don't need as much health. I go Zard on the Slowbro. They get a nice, beautiful turn and get Thunder Wave off. Like, okay, cool. I can still Solar Beam and KO you. But he makes a great play. Finally makes, like, this really nice. He made some good plays this time. I definitely called him out for making some great plays this entire time. But he makes a really good play because I get a little bit aggressive, which I did not need to. I'm just getting a little, I'm trying not to be too impatient, but I'm trying to make progress. He goes for another Thunder Wave on my Heatran double on the Charizard. Very good play on my opponent's part, but it's not even a winning play because if I land Magma Storm, even though I'm paralyzed, I can do it. Now I do get full paralyzed here on Clef, which is also kind of whack because Magma Storm into Taunt will 1v1 Clefable, waste more what it wants, but it's still fine too because I still get to save one Magma Storm. And then going for Protect there is I'm going to go for a Toxic. It's always the play this turn. There's just no reason not to. They go for Aromatherapy, which is crazy in front of me because I'm like, yo, fam, I get a Toxic now. So he only has 2 left. This is amazing. I can go for a double Toxic as well just because Clefable is not a threat, right? I do go for a double Toxic there. Clefable is not a threat if it wants to go for another one. I decide that I'm going to go for Toxic on Slowbro this turn and get as much damage as possible. And I'm like, you know what? I could go back and forth, but I'll live 2 more Skulls. And I can regen back, especially with Thunder Wave, back on Charizard. So I decide that I'm going to go for Magma Storm this turn. I'm going to go for Magma Storm this turn, even though I can get up the Sun and do it again. Because, again, I can get back up to health. So 33 right there. I managed to connect my paralyzed Magma Storm. Crazy, right? I managed to connect my paralyzed Magma Storm. At this point, Luce's play should always be to go for Slack. It should literally always be to go for Slack off and pray for a full para. But I'm just going for Earth Power, slowly but surely getting my health. And as long as I don't get full paralyzed, Slowbro just ends up dying. So I'm going to go for another Earth Power here. Luckily, not get fully paralyzed as Slowbro is going to be really, really low. And from this position, I could technically switch out into Weavile. Because if they slack off, I just go for Pursuit and they die. But I didn't want it to get Scalp Burn and then something crazy happen with Charizard where I get full paralyzed 100 turns. So that's the only reason why I didn't go Weavile this turn. I decided to stay in because I still live Charizard's hit. And I did not get paralyzed again. And I'm able to finally take down the Slowbro that should have died so many turns ago. Zard comes out and Zard still doesn't beat me. It still doesn't beat me. It does go for Dragon Claw here. Gets a crit on my Slowbro. I'm going to play a little bit safe here as opposed to going for Thunder Wave first. Going to play a little bit safe here and go for a nice slack off a couple turns because if he crits me, I can get, I can lose 1v1 this. So I'm never going to go for Thunder Wave like at this point. I'm going to go for, I think, 2 more slack offs before I actually end up going for it. Basically trying to be at full HP as he's wasting his Dragon Claws here. And then I believe this turn, I can actually throw off a Thunder Wave to finally allow me to beat the Slowbro. And what I'm going to do actually this turn is switch out into my Zard. Why? Because it's no longer necessary. And if he wants to go out to Clefable, it works out either way. Basically, if he gets sacked, I can bring out my Heatran and go for an Earth Power and beat that. But ends up going out to Clefable. I'm like, okay, cool. This is a free leftovers turn. This is a nice little munching my apple right here, right? So I'm going to bring out Heatran. I get a nice little 2-turn. Does go for that aromatherapy. There's only one left. I think this was a little bit of a misplay. I think I should have went for Toxic this turn as opposed to Taunt. I just didn't want, like, Wish passing all that stuff, but I don't think... No, did I go for Toxic this turn? No, I did go for Toxic. Okay, cool. I did go for Toxic. Okay, I thought I went for Taunt this turn. But yeah, Toxic was definitely the play as Charizard comes out. And I'm like, okay, I'll go Slowbro once. Get the regen back, basically to the exact same position, because if he ever doubles back out to Clefable, I can go right back and forth. So I go Zard because it literally does not matter. Zard does not matter in this game anymore. If he ever stays in with Charizard, he dies to Icicle Crash. And Icicle Crash has a chance to two-shot Clefable as well. So goes into Clefable there. I throw a Focus Blast just in case he wants to roost. I didn't have to. I could have just Flamethrower, to be honest. But I think at this point, it's kind of a wrap. Because as you can see, Heatran literally takes nothing. I get 1% back no matter what, right? It's doing 5%. I always get 1% back. So I go for Taunt. Definitely should have went for Toxic this turn, but Taunt just worked if he went Charizard, try and stall it. But definitely should have went for Toxic this turn. If he went for Aromatherapy, it was a wrap, right? I land the Toxic and I win. I go for Earth Power as well because there's literally nothing that can lose me the game from, I think, I would have to get like multiple really bad turns. But brings out Charizard that turn. And again, if he wants to go for Roost, I'm fine. Didn't have Dragon Claw. I mean, he didn't have Earthquake, obviously, the entire time, but go for Earth Power here, and all we basically need is, as long as Heatran is, like, legitimately at, like, 5%, I win the game anyway with Tran. So, take that 20%. That's the least it's done the entire time, as basically Charizard is going to go down here, but I decide to go Weavile just in case he wants to. One, Dragon Claw would not KO me, and two, Weavile can just click Ice Crash twice, and two, a KO Clefable. So, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go Weavile, keep Heatran healthy. Enough to always beat Clefable. It will always stall. It's Moonblast. As you see, Dragon Claw does a lot. Tough Claw is boosted, but it's a defensive Charizard, so Weavile lives it. And then Weavile can go for Ice Crash here. He always goes for Protect. He knows I'm banded based on the damage I've done the entire time. So we're going to go right for that nice little Icicle Crash one more time. And we actually get a little bit of luck right here and go for a flinch, which is pretty funny. Like, considering how the game has been going this entire time, it's crazy to get this on turn 133. But another Protect. Going to go for another Icicle Crash because, again, at any point, it doesn't matter how many, the score does not matter. It's just the fact that I have to win the game so my team can go on. So I get another flinch there, and then the game is going to end with me winning that game. That was a crazy game. It was nice to be able to play Gen 6 OU. It really was. Definitely made me remember why Magma Storm and Heatran and other generations just feels like the death of you, because like it's like missing Toxic on a bulky Pokemon. You don't get very many chances to get it, and when you do get it, you just end up missing. So that was my game. I saved my team. And now it's 13-15, and there's 2 other games to be played where we could tie up. Y'all want to see Blunder's game? Watch Blunder's game. Now, Blunder's playing X-Ray. X-Ray created this team, and Blunder and X-Ray, they play a lot. So when you play someone a lot, you make a lot of crazy moves, and you'll see in this game, right? So I'll play it real quick. We got Weavile lead versus Superior. What does Blunder do? Well, he expects the knockoff because Slowbro is an easy play. So, tanks it because of the HPVs and goes right for Glare, basically, effectively getting rid of Weavile unless Healing Wish on Lottie. So, goes for Synthesis because he can actually live 1 hit. And sees that it's no point because he'll die the next one. Gets the Hidden Power Rock damage off on the Weavile. And this gives him the position where he can go out to his own Weavile and just click knockoff because there's absolutely no switch-ins on X-Ray's team. Literally none. Literally none. So, Seismitoad comes out, takes 48. He can go for another knockoff again. Like, Scarlet only has a 30% chance to burn. If he wants to get a Rock Share because of Zard, which is probably going to be X-Ray's main thing, he can do that. So, goes for another knock there and decides to go out to Slowbro as opposed to picking up the knock. I think the reason he did that is because he wanted positionally to be better versus, like, Pinsir, Excadrill, and even Lottie. Plus, it gives him a chance to get up a Future Sight. That's my thought process on why Blunder would make that play. So, this gives you basically Future Sight. Goes Zone as Blunder goes for a beautiful Flamethrower. You already know they know each other based on this Flamethrower. That Flamethrower was nice. That Flamethrower was real nice. Just hitting potentially Weavile upon switching Drill. Well, Weavile and Zone were the 2 mons that could come in that turn. So that was a beautiful Flamethrower. That helps out Weavile a lot. And now his opponent's going to double out into Pinsir as Blunder predicts that. And the reason that Blunder did this is because if he goes Drill on Magnezone Volt Switch, even HP Fire, it lives 2, gets a Rapid Spin off. So if he goes Pinsir, he can get some free turns there. So that was a beautiful play on Blunder's part right there. I love that. He's going to switch out the Drill right now on potentially the Frustration, Return, whatever it wants to go for. As Pinsir does Mega Evolve, gets a nice little return off, and this gives him a free Rapid Spin. and then gives him a free Charizard right after that. So it goes right for that. That damage is, I believe, adamant damage from Mega Pinsir, so that's also good information for Blunder as well, just knowing that that's adamant, because now he can go Charizard and kind of just threaten something with a Flamethrower, but doubles out into Weavile, predicting the Latias to want to come out. And now look at the entire team and look at the move Knockoff. It just 2 KOs every month. It basically kills every month. So Latias reveals that it's Choice Scarf and goes for the Healing Wish. That way it can bring back Pinsir. And Blunder very smartly goes for Ice Crash, expecting the Healing Wish, most likely, because Ice Crash also kills everything too. But not wanting Pinsir to come back out for free. And also would have KO'd Latias and 2 KO Magnezone. So that was a very nice play because this actually forces Pinsir in. And then Pinsir has immediately switched out into Weavile. So Blunder obviously knows that. Goes for a nice little crash. KOs that Weavile. I don't know if the crit mattered at all. It's Bandit Weavile and Bandit Weavile. It's been a minute since I did that. But Drill comes out and this gives you a free Charizard if you really want to, because you already know ain't no Rock Slide coming out from this Drill. This generation. So you can Mega Evolve right here. I'd roost here just so you don't have it though. So he's just going to say, I'm going to roost just because I know you're going to switch. But yeah, just talking crap. But anyway, I go for a nice little Flamethrower and basically KO that mon. He goes for Flamethrower. We go for a Flamethrower. We're a team. As Magnezone comes out, and Magnezone has to easily Volt Switch. So Blunder opts to go into Heatran here on the Volt Switch. Just gives him a free Pinsir to kind of just attack. Gave him a free Pinsir to attack right here. And now Pinsir can honestly just go for whatever it wants to. If he ever ends up going for a Swords Blunder can go for Magma Storm, risk it and miss. If he obviously misses, it's worse. But now brings out Weavile because Weavile gets a free Icicle Crash KO right now, or 2 KO rather. So it goes Weavile. I think he also could have went out into obviously Charizard, but maybe he didn't run the calc. But I'm pretty sure that was adamant, as we'll see later. Actually, Blunder told me that all Mega Pinsers run adamant, but I guess he didn't want to risk it that turn. So he goes for the triple Icicle Crash as the Magnezone is going to come out. And the Magnezone has to decide, like, okay, if it Volt Switches out, I don't even think Volt Switch kills Pinsir. And then right here, Thunderbolt also doesn't KO. Also, Scarf Magnezone is slower than this, so I think the X-Ray tried to predict the Slowbro. As long as Blunder has Slowbro, it will live one hit from Pinsir and get a Flamethrower off. So as long as you get some damage off, I think you're good. So ends up staying in, calling the fact that he's not going to go for Flash Cannon. You have to go for Thunderbolt or Volt Switch here. So goes for Thunderbolt, doesn't KO Weavile, but does obviously put it in range of Quick Attack, as he's going to go for Ice Crash again to KO the Magnezone. And then Mega Pinsir is going to come out, reveal it does have Faint, which would have been higher priority than Ice Shard anyway. But because it's adamant, Zarwai can come in and Blunder beats the creator of the team with his own team. And then obviously I followed it up, beating Lusa at the end. So the team ended up being 13-15. And even CTC won his game too, which is so fire. Like the boys all won today. This was Blunder played a best of 3. He also played Gen 8 and he won that as well. So the boys went 4-0 today, which is real cool. Unfortunately, we didn't win the tour because the next game we played was pretty unlucky. I think there was a burn very early on in ADV, and then it just kind of ended it. But it was still a fun, you know, little mini return to tournaments for me. Will I be playing tournaments from here on out? I can't answer that right now because I'm really enjoying draft so much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the little blast from the past. The fact that I was able to, you know, hopefully or thankfully try and save my team, get them back in a clutch position, and we just couldn't follow through. But it was still real good. If you did enjoy, of course, though, please let me know. Leave a like, sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.